Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started with this lesson, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders and bishops of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To you I say Shalom. This is your brother Yeshaya coming at you again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shai. Back with another video. And the title of this one will be Slavery Was a Consequence, Not Coincidence. All right. And, one thing that I want to say is, especially, to you Jace, you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, which make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, is, back when we were in school, being indoctrinated in the manners and customs and history that Esau wants you to know and Esau wants you to believe in, right? But what they neglect to tell you is the true history, right? They take away things that that's not convenient for them to tell us, right? Jake only knows pretty much from the time of slavery till now, right? Yeah, they'll tell you, about the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, pretty much anything having to do with Renaissance, right? But whenever it comes to the Dark Ages, or even before that, like the time of Israel, because that's major history, because there was a point in time where Israel, right, Yasha Allah, had dominion over the earth, right? And that was the time during King Solomon. This is a historical facts. But these are things that they neglect to tell you in these schools. And same thing with the Dark Ages, right? They don't want you to believe that you were more than what they tell you that you are. They just want you to believe that you're a slave, right? That you were nothing, that you were out here with a piece of loincloth and with spears, right? Just hunters and gatherers. And that the best thing that happened to you was these Edomites coming and taking you captive and civilizing you, if that's even a term, but making you civilized is what I mean to say, right? But not knowing that really the whole thing of slavery was really a consequence to your actions in the past, right? Because there's a thing called reincarnation, and that's real pertaining to the scriptures. We are our forefathers in the past, and because of our transgressions, you know, us as a nation, right? Um, the Most High had to, bring the hammer down, right? And Esau being that hammer, right? He's the hammer of the earth. He's that rod, right? That the Most High used to punish us for our transgressions. All right. Slavery wasn't a coincidence. Slavery wasn't something that just happened. It wasn't just because, you know, it wasn't because Esau was this racist cracker. He just needed some uh, uh, some hands to do his work. Even though that is what happened, but in the grand scheme of things, it was all because of our transgression that these events happened, right? Because, like I mentioned earlier, during the Dark Ages, we were the ruling power, right? We were the people that ruled the world for a good period of time. In the scriptures, it mentions about it. It was like a period of around 1,000 years, right? From the time that the Romans fell, which even at the time at the end of the Roman Empire, right? you had Jake ruling. Jake was coming up, and having positions of power in that time. But once the Roman Empire fell, you had something what is called the Byzantine Empire, right? Which is what Esau calls it. And that started with um can't remember his name. Um, Salakia, I lost it, but if it comes to my mind, I'll bring it out. Constantine Salakia, that's his name, Constantine, right? And but either ways, from that time period, from the time that the Romans fell, you know, Jake started coming up, right? Jake started having dominion over the earth. They had a time besides what was called the Byzantine Empire. You also had the same thing, right? It was called also the Holy Roman Empire. But besides them, over here on what you would call the known world at the time, you also had Jake over here in the Americas, which ruled all the Americas, right? From North to South America, right? From Canada all the way down to Argentina to Chile, right? So, Jake had a dominion over the earth for a period of time, right? Which was a period, like I said, a period of about 1,000 years. But then you had something called, we should teach you this in school. They tell you of the Renaissance, right? Which is the rebirth. That's pretty much all it means, rebirth. Rebirth of what though? The rebirth of that that dragon, right, with a deadly wound, right? And this is all pertaining to history. This is all, I mean, not history, but prophecy. I mean, yeah, it's history, but this is all pertaining to prophecy. This was written about, right? That deadly wound that was healed, right? And with that deadly wound being healed, at that time period, you had Jake going off. So this is all meant to happen in order for us to be punished as a whole, right? As a people, right? And the fact that we will lose our heritage, we will lose knowledge of who we will be completely broken, right, before our enemies and by our enemies, right? But let's get this, because I've been, talking a lot. Let me get this. Daniel chapter 9 and verse 11. It says, "Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us in the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we sinned against him." You see? So this is the reason why we suffer the curses. When you go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, 15th verse on down, it gives you a whole list of curses that will befall us if we were to transgress the Most High's law, right? Which is exactly what we did, because when you go into the history, you had Jake subscribing to uh, all kinds of nonsense, man. Jake was into all kind of debaucherous acts, right? Especially over here in the Americas, you had the Northern Kingdom, sacrificing, right, their own brothers. You had them sacrificing their own children. You know, you had Gad over here worshiping animals. You know, there was all kinds of nonsense, man. So the Most High had to uh, uh, had to put the hammer down, right? Had to send Esau over here. Esau being that hammer of the earth. Esau being that rod, right? Whom the Most High used to correct us, to whoop us, and to get us, to think upon Him, right? So it says, verse 12, "And He hath confirmed His words, which He spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, to bring upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem." You see? So no other nation went through what we went through. This is indicative that we are the children of the Most High. You know, you can't mistake this for someone else. You know, these gutter rats over there calling themselves, you know, the J double O's, right? They ain't the real people. They like to use the hollow, thing, right? I don't even want to say it. It might clip this video, but the hollow thing, right? They like to use that as a means to validate themselves as being the people, right? But all that shit was fabricated. That shit ain't real, right? But what is real is the fact that we went through that. We went through the curses, and we're still going through them right now. The scriptures tell us that we will be trodden down by the Gentiles, our land and us, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So until the time that Esau goes down, we will be still in captivity. We'll be still be, being put down, gunned down in the streets, still be disenfranchised, right? Still being used and abused by our enemies, right? But that time is coming to an end, right? We're seeing that Esau's kingdom is fallen, and we're coming to a close with the time of the Gentiles, right? But all this to say is that this shows you, when you go into the history, like the Apostle Tahar likes to say, you got to understand the history to understand the mystery, right? So once you understand the history of things, now you understand, and you correlate it with the scriptures. Now you start to begin to understand to who the scriptures are for, what is talking about, right, and to whom it's pertaining to, right. So now, before I continue on, I want to get Romans chapter 8 and verse 16 real quick. It says, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. Right. So just look into history, do your research, and you'll clearly understand. You come to the conclusion that you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans are the children of Israel. Right. There's a lot of evidence out there. Shit, you even have over here in North America, you have Hebrew artifacts, right, with Hebrew writing on it. You had Jake wearing the fringes. You had pertaining to the artifacts. You had here in North Carolina, over here in Cherokee, you have a museum that has this stone called the Back Creek Stone, which has Hebrew writing on it. I believe it's in New Mexico. Also, you have I forgot what it's called. I think it's called the Decalogue Stone. In Las Lunas, which has the Ten Commandments written on it. So these are things that, little pieces of evidence of who were the people, and or that the people here in America uh, were the 12 tribes, were the tribes, right? The tribes of Israel. Because when you go into Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, around the 40th verse, it explains that the 10 tribes, those that make up the northern kingdom, they ended up going into captivity into Assyria, and from there, from the end of that captivity, they ended up sailing for about a year and a half to a land where no man ever dwelt, right? And the scriptures, it calls it Arsareth, as we know to be, um, when you go into that word Arsareth, all it means is another land, right? And the reason why they knew that there was another land over here is because King Solomon used to send ships to gather wood, animals, gold, whatever, right? All the goods that were here in America. But anyway, going back to this, Romans 8 and 16, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. Right? Because at the same time, who is out here proclaiming the truth? Who is out here pushing his word? Esau ain't out here, breaking down the scriptures, breaking down prophecies, making it plain upon tables. These churches ain't doing it. Esau is the head of these churches. So who else is doing this? Who else is breaking it down? Who else has the Spirit entered into to do these things? To wear the fringes, right? To call upon the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shah to say that we are the true Israelites. These are things that in the prophecy we're told that these things will happen, right? So the Spirit bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High, right? So now let's go back, right, to Daniel 9 and verse 13. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read 12 again. It says, "And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us by bringing upon us a great evil." Right? These words were confirmed. The curses that he said, the words that he told us by his prophets, these things were all confirmed. The Most High is a man of his word. He made it happen, right? Our people, they brushed it off like the Most High wasn't going to do nothing. And look at it. Look what happened. It happened, man. He has confirmed it. And now us that are waking up, we understand that, hey, the word is true. We are the children of the Most High. These things happen unto us because of our transgressions. So knowing this, we understand that his promises of salvation, his promises of deliverance, of the kingdom, of immortality, all these promises are going to come to pass as well. All right? Which is why, hey, we stand 10 toes down, and Lord willing, we be part of that elect number and endure to the end. Right? But this is why history is very important. Right? But let's continue on. It says, by bringing upon us a great evil, for under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem, right? Because you have, a lot of these crackers say, oh, well, we went into slavery too. All these other nations can say, oh, we went into slavery as well. But we went into slavery because of our transgressions, right? And history has time and time again has proven that. These heathen are in their power. They're in the rulership seat. We're still in captivity, right? So that just proves right there that they ain't the people. They're not the Israelites. Those people that are claiming to be the Israelites, that are claiming to be the real Jews, they ain't. All right. Just by prophecy and history and what's going on now, right? Because if they are, make it make sense. Correlate it with the precepts. Correlate it with the scriptures. Bring out prophecy and make it make sense. It hasn't happened yet. We've been calling them out. It hasn't happened yet. So that proves that, hey, they ain't the people. I mean, we understand the prophecies. We understand that they ain't the people, and there's no way that they can back it up. They can't back up that claim, which is why Esau's going to start coming down with great wrath, right? Because he's being revealed to be a liar, to be false, and to be the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. All right. And the fact that, they're trying to run away from prophecy because they understand, pursuant to Revelation, the 13th chapter. Let me see. Right here in verse 10, I'm going to read it real quick. He that leadeth to captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with a sword must be killed with a sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. See, and he understands that he's going to go into captivity. Him and these other nations, they understand this. That's why they're confederate. They're confederate with one another. One thing they like to say is pretty much they're in cahoots, right? They made this agreement amongst themselves to take us down and to hide this history from us. Because imagine, I mean, just think about it. All these other nations, they know their history going back thousands of years. But us, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, as far as back as you can trace back is only to during the time of slavery. And that's it. But when you dig deeper, you go further and further back. We are royalty. And even further and further back to the beginning, we are the sons of the Most High. We are God's lowercase g. All right. And these heathen, they understand their place. They understand their role. But they're upset with that role. And that's the reason why they're doing what they're doing. They're trying to, they have usurped authority over the children of the Lord. Right? The true rulers of the earth. But again, this is all uh, 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 because the Most High did this to us, right? For our transgressions. If we would have stayed locked in to this truth, to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, this would have never have happened to us, right? But we're coming to a time period where, we're gonna be put back into a rightful position. The Most High is gonna put those law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts, so we will never go off again, right? And slavery, all these curses, will be gone, and it will never happen to us again. No nation is going to touch us. There's not going to be no hoes amongst our people, no thugs amongst our people, no damn moes, none of this nonsense that we're seeing now. Jake has been Jake has been in captivity for too long that y'all believe this damn backward ass kingdom is normal. You know, this is that slave mentality to just accept it, just to accept what you've been given. But anyway, let's continue on. Daniel 9 and verse 13, it says, "As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil has come upon us, yet made we not a prayer before Yahweh our power, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth." And that's what happened, right? Even to this day, right? You have a lot of Jake who's still, still caught up in the this worldly mindset, this American dream, this illusion that you've been fed, since young. These movies. Esau has a lot of methods to brainwash our people. The movies, TV shows, shit. Now you got the social media, to make pretty much to brainwash Jake into thinking that this is normal. This is life, right? That's the reason why they push a lot of this. I remember growing up, they'll push that whole Darwinism upon, that pretty much became a subject in science, right? Pretty much the Big Bang Theory, uh, all this science, that Esau, or, pseudoscience, really. That's really what it is, pseudoscience. Because none of it is based on facts. It's all based on theories, right? But either ways, they push this to the point where, like that saying, you push a lie so much that it becomes true, right? It becomes true in your mind, and this is something that they've been doing for years. So now you have the newer generation coming up believing these lies, and through time and generation after generation, that the mindset of reading the scriptures and worshiping the Lord is fading, right? But the Most High always keeps a remnant in the midst of all this chaos and all this wickedness. The Most High always keeps a remnant, right? Or in these times, He has woken up His remnant, right? But continuing on, Daniel 9 and verse 14. It says, therefore hath Yahweh watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For Yahweh, our power, is righteous in all his works that he doeth. Right? And that was righteous what he did. Because we broke the covenant. He told us, he gave us a warning. You know, we made a covenant with the Lord that if we were to keep his laws, he would be good to us. If we broke them, then all those curses will come upon us. And we agreed to that. He kept his word. We didn't. We fucked up. Right? So it says, for we obeyed not his voice. Right? We didn't obey his voice. So we got what we got. You know, the Most High is justified in all his works, man. Everything he did was righteous. Right? By the book. So what the fuck is Jake talking about? You know, how can God do something like this? How would God do this? How would God do that? Nah, man. How could you do this? How could you do that? The Most High was good to us, but now, you know, we're coming back. It's important to, like the scripture says, seek the Lord 10 times more, right? Knowing that we transgress His laws, we disrespected the Lord, we pretty much put Him on the back burner, put Him to the side. Hey, now it's time for us to come back 10 times more, seek the Lord 10 times more harder, because like I said, we messed up. All right. So this is why, you know, slavery was put upon us. This is the reason why we were taken into all these other nations, scattered amongst the world, right? Some of us look like the heathen, right? Calling ourselves any other name besides Israel, right? And we can get that just real quick. Deuteronomy 28, and we can start at verse 64. It says, and Yahweh shall scatter thee. So this is part of the curses, all right? When you read Deuteronomy 15, I'm going to get it real quick. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. You see that? All these curses, you know, it's a bunch. And all these curses have came upon Jacob at one point in time or another, right? But this is verse 64. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known, even wood and stone. So we will be scattered unto these other nations, you know, unto Moab, unto Ammon, unto Ishmael, unto Ham, unto Edom, right? Elam, all these nations. Excuse me. And we will start serving their gods. We will be indoctrinated in their ways, right? And you know, you can especially read about that amongst our people here that came up here in America, or the history of America. You know, the way Esau established schools to indoctrinate Gad, right? The Gadite children, pretty much started to made them take off their fringes, made them cut their hair, had them wear suits and ties, you know, and whatever else they taught them up in their schools, right? But it says in verse 65, pretty much what they did was strip away um, the teachings of their fathers, and gave them their teachings, you know, so that way they won't know who they are. Pretty much to bring them further and further away from the Lord. You know, these were steps, you know, that led to other steps that led to more, you know, further progression to where we're at now, right? But verse 65, it says, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot find rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and a failing of eyes and sorrow of mind, right? And wherever Jake was, you know, we were oppressed. Wherever Jake was sent to, we were pretty much destroyed as a whole. You know, we found no rest. We didn't find no ease, right? For verse 66, it says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have no assurance of thy life. And here in America, you can see that with the lynchings, with the killings, the hangings, right? And that didn't happen just to Judah. That happened to Issachar as well, with Gad, with all the wars, right? Hey, it's a lot of things, man. It's a lot of history here in America, especially in the establishment of America. In the beginning years, there's a lot of history, history that they don't teach you at school. They'll teach you a little bit about Plymouth Rock and Jamestown, but they don't teach you, a lot of the the these other history that's pretty much brings shame to them, because that's what it does. It brings shame into them. Because imagine if if Esau started, teaching Jake the true history, the hard to hear history in school. Shit, you'll have fucking riots. You'll have fucking Jake beating up teachers, whooping them Edomites' asses. You'll have Jake flipping out, right? But anyway, continuing on, verse 67, it says, in the morning thou shalt say, would the Most High were even, and at even thou shalt say, would the Most High were morning, for the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, for in the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. Right, just pretty much being in complete, being completely dismayed, um, being in hell, right? Which is exactly what Jake is going through. But now, Jake has drugs, Jake has alcohol, Jake has all these things, all these distractions to keep them distracted of the hell that they're living, the condition, this hellish condition that they're living, right? But you're still living in hell, right? But verse 68, it says, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, that thou shalt not see it, or thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall redeem you, right? You had so many revolutionary uh, movements, but none of them has done anything for Jake. The only one that's going to redeem us is Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, right? When Yahushua returns, he's going to come and deliver his people, right? His elect, right? But pertaining to 68, the word Egypt, or Egypt right here, what it's talking about, it ain't talking about Egypt over there in Africa. This is talking about America, right? If we can get that in Romans 11, and we'll start at verse 8. Wait, no, not Romans, Salakia. Revelation 11 and 8. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. Dead bodies, referring to us being uh, spiritually and mentally dead, right? You can read about that in Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, right? With the valley of dry bones. That valley representing America, them dry bones representing the whole nation of Israel, right? But it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, right? That's here in America. Because what's going on here? A lot of sodomy, right? That's promoted here. That's pushed heavily here in America, especially to your tribes. Everything what has to do with sodomy, they always have Jake in the forefront, being the face of the shit. Egypt, what happened in Egypt, at least over there in Africa, slavery, right? Well, the same thing happened here, right? It says, where also our Lord was crucified, meaning the X'd out, the true image and the teachings and the true doctrine and the truth, period, of the Lord, right? What they give you? JC, Jesus Christ. They ain't giving you Yahweh and Yahushua, right? Verse 9, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. That's what I mentioned earlier, right? and 3 days and a half, pertaining to the time period of 350 years, right? From the time that we were taken into captivity, right? When Judah was brought over here with slave ships, right? And we were stripped away from our heritage, stripped away from our knowledge of who we are, the law, statutes, and commandments, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, right? We were stripped away from all that understanding, right? And the end of that was us waking up through um, the Holy Spirit by the way of Abba Bivens, right? He started coming out here, you know, bringing the hearts of the fathers back, you know, to the understanding. But it says, "And shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves," meaning these heathen would not tell us who we were. They kept it a secret. I mean, your average Edomite, your average uh, Moabite, Ammonite, you know, these peons, they don't know, you know. But the high elite, they understand this. They know who we are. Shit, when they go to these G7 summits, these G20 summits, these WEF gatherings over there in Davos, um, Bilderberg groups meetings, you know, all these meetings, all these councils is to discuss how to further oppress you. And you can see in these EU summits and all this and that, they don't ever have nobody to represent you jakes because they don't care about you. It's all about them, right? It's all about them and how they can oppress you, how they can continue to maintain control and dominion over you jakes. Which again, that's why another reason why we say you're still in captivity. Like I said, the only difference now is that you have a mental bond. You're under a mental type of bondage. They have already physically broken you down, right? But they have your mind now. So now you can go wherever you want. You can travel. You can go here. You can go there. But they got your mind. They have already indoctrinated you on how to think, on what to believe. This is why this word is a major threat, because this word is undoing the years of programming that they have invested so much money on. Now, of course, this is not going to work for all Israel because we understand, according to the scriptures, that only the elect are going to wake up, right? So this message is only for the elect, which is why we see a lot of Jake bucking up against his truth because they ain't part of the elect, right? And some of them are tares, right? But anyway, what was verse 10? It says, "And they shall dwell upon the earth, Salakia, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth," right? Because they understand the history. They understand the history. They know what happened back in the time of King David. You know, how we were whooping their ass, man. How we put them down. We subjugated them. So this is their form of getting payback on us, right? Because they understand the scriptures, man. They understand when you read the book of Judith, right, the 5th chapter, and you go down to the 17th verse, it reads, I'm going to read it real quick. "And while they sinned not before their power, they prospered." So while we were good with the Most High, we were in good standing with the Lord, we kept the law, statutes, and commandments, right? What happened? We were good. We prospered. Because the power that hated iniquity was with them. Verse 18, "But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore." So once we started turning away from the Lord, we started sinning, we started doing all kinds of bullshit, we were losing, you know? It says, "And were led captives into a land that was not theirs." Didn't that happen to us? It says, "And the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and the cities were taken by their enemies." And to this day, To this day, Jerusalem is not, we ain't in our land, man. We ain't in our land. You know, a nation that's not us is in our land, which we know them to be the so-called Edomites. You know, you even got Ishmael over there, but they're having a battle right now amongst themselves of who has propriety over the land, right? But it says, let me skip down to verse. Let me skip down to verse 20 just to get to the point, because I'm gonna close it out after this. It says, "Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against his people and the sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them." So they understand this, man. These Edomites especially, they understand this point, right? They understand that if we continue to sin against our power, they will continue to have power over us, which is why social media, TV, all these ads that they push, you know, everything, you know, here in Babylon has to do with transgressing the laws. That's why they put bacon in every damn thing. You know, that's the reason why they have mixed fabrics. That's the reason why, man, everything that Esau pushes is contrary to the scriptures, is contrary to the laws of the Most High, right? And they want to keep it like that in order to keep you under subjection. Because, hey, imagine if Esau let go of all the Israel, which we are the majority. You know, contrary to what Esau says, you know, he likes to say that, you know, we're the minority. Now we're the majority, right? So being the majority of the people, if they let us all go, what will happen? America will collapse that day, that hour. The economy will be no more. So they have to continue to keep us in this continual cycle of sin, right? To continue to keep America pumping, right? And to keep these bankers happy and keep them making money, keep them rich, keep them in their heaven, right? Verse 21, but if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by. You know, just pretty much, hey, turn to the side. Let their Lord defend them, right? Let's Yahweh will come, you know, and defend us. But that will only work if we turn back to the Lord, right? It says, and their power before them, and we become a reproach before the world. So they understand this. You know, these heathen, they know this, they understand this, you know, which is why, again, us coming back into remembrance is a major threat unto them. And as a matter of fact, before I close it out, I'm gonna get that. Excuse me. In Revelation 11, in verse 11, it says, "And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life, which is the Holy Spirit, right? The Spirit of truth." It says it came. Well, after those 3 days and a half, right, which I mentioned earlier, is ended that those 3 days and a half ended, the 350-year period ended when Abba Bivens came on the scene and started waking us up. It says, and after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Right, so they see us standing up with great boldness, standing up in the names of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, calling ourselves Hebrew Israelites, right? Hey, great fear is upon these damn elite. They understand that all their effort in trying to stop us has failed. They understand that the Lord is working. The Lord is making this prophecy come to pass. They understand that Revelation 13 and what was it, verse 10 is going to come to pass. They're going to be put in captivity. They're going to be shackled up, and now it's going to be their turn to suffer, right? Like the scripture says, they didn't consider the latter end, right? And now that we're at the end, they don't want to be put into subjection. Which again, this is why this is a major threat unto them. You know, these elite are having sleepless nights, trying to figure out how they can continue to have dominion over the earth? How are they able to extend or prolong the inevitable, right? But yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. That's all I had, right? Um, slavery, along with all these other curses that we're going through, these are all consequences of our actions, you know. So the only solution is to turn back to the Lord, right? And before I close it out, just one last precept. It just came to my mind. Hosea 6 in verse 1. It says, "Come and let us return unto Yahweh, for he hath torn, and he will heal us. He has smitten, and he will bind us up." You see? So return to the Lord is the only solution to receive that healing, right? The healing is here. The scriptures, the word, in order to uh, uh, get that key to that mental bondage, you got to cleave unto the Lord. There ain't no other way, man. All right. So with that, I'm going to close it out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Until the next time, I'm going to say, Shalom, Kwam Yasher Allah.